Let's ask Kamala how her debate prep is going.
How's debate prep? Madam Vice President, how is debate prep going?
She just proved how different she was from Joe Biden.
That's right. She walked straight.
She got right up those stairs.
Yep.
Amazing. Apparently, she just told reporters moments ago that her prep's doing well. Starting tomorrow, she'll be holed up in Pennsylvania for 5 days of debate camp, getting pointers on how to rattle Donald on the national stage, as well as figure out how to unburden herself from her boss, Joe. According to NBC, quote, some on Harris's team are taking the approach that she may have to respectfully but forcefully lay blame for some problems like the Afghanistan withdrawal squarely at Biden's feet. So, Jesse, she has to draw distinctions from Joe. That should be easy, right? Just bring a mirror and put it under her nose so you can see it fog up.
That's good. So she has to differentiate herself from Joe Biden. But the more she does that, the more she starts agreeing with Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. So Trump's just going to be like, yeah, Kamala, we agree. So why are you running against me? You know, why didn't you just tell Joe to do what we talked about right here? Why didn't you just tell him that the last 4 years he was wrong and he didn't listen to you? Mm-hmm. Or you didn't really say anything, did you? You just sat there, didn't you? Yeah, you did. So if she says she's going to differentiate herself on Afghanistan, how? She already bragged that she was the last person in the room. How's she going to differentiate herself with the border? She was the border czar. On the economy, she was the tie-breaking vote. I just don't see the areas where she can say, I was different or I would have done things differently. It's just impossible. Her other strategy is to rattle him. Mm-hmm. Okay. The only time Trump was rattled in the first debate was when Biden said he was a 6 handicap.
Yes.
It just blew Trump's mind. Okay, he's been shot, he's been raided, he's been arrested. Yeah. I don't think you can rattle him at the debate. He'll be fine.
Perhaps, Judge. What do you think this camp will be like? Will there be sing-alongs, s'mores, some evening skits?
I don't know. I imagine that they probably have pin the donkey, but the donkey's Donald Trump, and she's running around. Can you get him? Can you get him? Look, I don't underestimate her, and let's not underestimate her. She was a prosecutor. She's a lawyer. She failed the bar, but that's not a good sign. But then she passed it. Mm-hmm. But she's a mess when it comes to
Don't underestimate her. But she's a mess.
But she's a mess when it comes to off-script discussions, okay? And it's up to Donald Trump to get her off script. But this is what's happening. She's going to try to explain to the audience that the best years are when she and Biden were in the White House, okay? And she's got to distinguish, you're right, Jesse, she's got to somehow separate herself with a scalpel from Joe Biden, especially when it relates to Afghanistan. But at the same time, her job is going to be to needle Trump, to rattle Trump, to do whatever she can to get under his skin. And she's going to say, you never got the Mexicans to pay for the wall. And you're the one who stopped the border bill. We would have solved the border bill, if it weren't for you. And, you couldn't pass an infrastructure bill like we did. She's going to do stuff like that. And he's got to go back at her, and he's got to be able to unhinge her. And she's unhingeable, and I'll tell you how. She was good with Joe Biden. Okay, when she called Joe Biden a racist, how dumb is he? Then makes her the next president. Hopefully, in her mind, the next president. But when Tulsi Gabbard got on the stage with her, and Tulsi said, you got 1,700 people you put in prison for marijuana, and then you laughed about the fact that you smoke a joint, okay? She didn't have her safe space. When someone hits you at a debate with something that unhinges you, that you didn't expect, that no one talked about, you've got to have that value piece, that safe space. But I'm all about this and just keep moving. She doesn't know how to do that. She couldn't do it. So the question is, are they going to prepare her so much that she's going to be lost in her own head? Or is she going to be able to aggravate Donald Trump? I don't think that's going to happen. Trump showed in the Biden debate how he can just take the crap and not even look at Joe. There's only one point he looked at Joe, said, I don't think he knows what he said, and I don't know what he said. So in the end, too much prep is going to be dangerous for her. But she also has an opportunity to take some hits, but I don't think she's smart enough.
Kennedy, the one thing she has, she can't use anymore. I'm speaking. She can't do I'm speaking because she used that with the crowd. She used that with Pence. That was her shield.
Yeah, and that's what she wants, and that has been the big pushback against ABC. That was the one sticking point where she almost pulled out of that debate. Was she wanted the mics open the entire time just so she could have that moment, which just goes to show how unspontaneous she really is. And to the judge's point, like, she's not good when she's pressed. And we have seen so few real spontaneous moments from her. And I don't count that CNN interview. But, even after we saw, the freed hostages, and she was on the tarmac and she was like, well, Joe Biden did this one thing and it was great and it was distinguished leadership. And the thing that distinguishes leadership is when a leader distinguishes himself. And everyone's like, what? And they had to clean up that quote and change the readout. So she does have the possibility of crafting a very green word salad up there on the debate stage. But I will say this, I feel like I have to channel Jessica and Harold right now for ho. If she does really, really well in this debate, she's not going to debate again. And she very well could win the presidency if she has an outstanding shot out of the cannon night.
I don't think we should shoot her out of a cannon. That's
a little,
violent.
It's a little extreme.
That's
a little
She doesn't
extreme.
like guns.
Violent rhetoric.
Hey, but what a way to make an entrance.
Yes, Dana, do you think they're kind of infantilizing her by sending her away to camp?
I think that they know that this is the next big significant moment. Like, her campaign, to me, has been, as I said yesterday, losing airspeed and altitude. Actually, this morning, I was like, I'm bored. Why am I bored?
Interesting.
Like, all the vibes and the sugar highs are gone. Where's the nutrition? We need some nutrition. There's nothing on the table to eat, and now we have to wait another 5 days. So they're not feeding the beast at all. They're just trying to wait because they know that this is the moment when you'll have the most Americans watching, probably more even than watch Trump and Joe Biden. So this is it for her. I am going to mention one thing. Everybody has said everything I was going to say, but except for this. I like the idea of practice like you play. Have you ever heard of this phrase? It's one that they use in football or something. But I used to do this with President Bush. Like, we're going to go do a press conference and say, sir, they're likely to ask you about this. He's like, yeah, no, it's not my first rodeo. And I'd say, I know, but let's practice like we play, okay? Let me hear how you think you'll say it, and then I could give advice or not. What President Trump has been doing in these 35 interviews is he's practicing like he plays, okay? So Lex Fridman is an hour-and-a-half interview. So you do have a longer amount of time to speak, but you can certainly fill the 2 minutes that you didn't have before. And he's been saying things in his mind. He's working it out. He doesn't have to have talking points because he's been talking to so many people. All of her messages are untested except for in this room. And I don't know if they have, they will have, she will be well prepared. But do they have somebody in there that has the ear of a Republican who will say, that's not how that's going to come across? That part I don't know.
Can I just add something you didn't say? Glurgle. Up next, Elon and RFK Jr. are trying to warn America over Comrade Kamala's plans to crack down on your free speech.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.